Okay. Now we are live. Now we are live. And then we're going live here. All right, perfect. What is going on? What's up, everybody? Here we are live. Something's happening here. Why am I not seeing my horizontal view? All right. What's going on, my peeps? Delia mode here is a Friday. You know, getting ready for the weekend, football weekend. You know, my weekends are full of work, so like I'm normally not excited for the weekend, but it's good to make money, you know, work, see people, and watch sports. That's what my weekend is all about. But yeah, here we are live streaming. We gotta talk about this beat. But first of all, let me go check out my stream real quick. Want to make sure that everything is running correctly. It's not gonna be a long stream today. We're just gonna be like talking about this beat I made for Sync, and which got accepted. This morning I got an email and they said that they liked my track and they accepted it to be put into their catalog. So I'm excited about that. And we're gonna be talking about the brief also that came with the beat. The brief came before, right? So we're gonna talk about the brief that came before the creative process. But I'll talk to you guys about the process also on this live stream. Okay, so here we are. Let me see. Everything is running smoothly. Yeah. See that I'm running well. Yeah. Everything is cool. I can see myself and I can see you guys. All right, let me see if I can put it back here or something. I don't know. I try to keep it like balanced, but it's not working, so whatever. All right. Anyways, so yeah, back to the live stream. I received a brief from Mori Sounds Music Library, and they send out a brief for a West Coast type beat. I'm going to read you the brief, and then we're gonna open up the DAW and we're gonna see what I did. Okay, let me check that everything is running cool again here on Instagram, if everything is okay over here. Follow on YouTube. I'm just gonna leave a comment around here on my live stream. All right, so I'm gonna go into the brief of what was sent to me via email. Now this particular library, they work through Discord. They have a Discord channel where you can communicate with them, and they build up this new portal, which is pretty cool. And they have all these open briefs. So for you who don't know what a brief is, when I'm talking about sync licensing, when you are making music for TV and film, you're sync licensing your music so that other companies can publish it and use it in their visuals, you know? So a brief is practically like some instructions or like a laid out map of what type of tracks they are looking for, right? So that's what a brief is. I don't know if I explained it correctly, but in other words, it's like a document that tells you what kind of beat they're looking for, and in this document you're gonna find the directions, sounds that they're looking for, the duration, the tempo, the mood, the influences, the references, and including in the brief there might be a deadline and there might be a link to send all the finals. So the brief is for you to create, and then you send an MP3 file ready as a demo. And if they accept that demo, then you have to deliver final assets, which means you have to deliver individual stems, group stems, a master file on waveform, all that stuff. every music library is different. They got different standards, different guidelines and directions for their stems and their final deliveries. But in this case, I just received that they accepted my demo, and now I have to go back and find the document where the instructions for the final deliverables were at. And so you gotta read that carefully, and that's very important. Read it carefully so that all your files are neatly organized. That makes it easier for them. That adds value to you, and that way they know that with you they work fast, swiftly, with no problems. Okay, so the title of the brief was West Coast Hip Hop V2, I guess, Volume 2. I'm gonna read you the direction. It says, we're looking for a modern West Coast hip hop instrumental that blends cinematic textures with raw street energy. Think the minimal textured bounce of Kendrick Lamar's Squabble Up and TV Off, paired with the smooth polished edge heard in tracks by Blast, Larry June, or Buddy. These beats should feel current but rooted, pulling from the classic West Coast bounce while incorporating forward-thinking sonics, ambient elements, and progressive structures. Tracks must be sync-ready with clean mix separation and strong moody dynamics that serve contemporary scripted and unscripted TV. It says drama, crime, docuseries, kind of where they'll use the music, streaming originals, and edgy brand campaigns. Avoid dated sounds and focus on character, atmosphere, and momentum. Right, so that's the direction. For the production, it says the instruments, they're looking for ambient rolls or keys, moody synth textures, gritty synth bass, analog pads, pitched vocals, 808 variations, filter electric guitars, live or program percussion loops. Drums, not heavy, but laid-back grooves. Think swung hi-hats, dry snares, clean kicks, less club, and more cinematic bounce. So as you can see, they lay out how they want, I guess, the drums, right? Not heavy, but laid back. They also lay out the energy, what kind of energy you want to give out with your instrumentals. So a laid back but intentional, mid to high tension depending on arrangement. The BPM 70 to 90, mid-tempo. The tempo is mid-tempo with bounce or halftime feel. Your track length is 1 minute and 30 to 2 minutes. That's how long you want your track to be. The arrangement could be an A apostrophe, B apostrophe, C, and A, or A, B, C, A for modular sync cuts. So those, the arrangement, right? Like you got an intro, a chorus, a pre-chorus, and a bridge or whatever for songs with vocals. Also, for instrumentals, there are also arrangements. So you got the A section where it's like I'm introducing the hook and everything, but it's still a little bit light. And then you enter like an A apostrophe, in this case, would be like the same A section, but add a little bit more, right? And then the B section would be something like completely different, like a little different. You can take out some instruments and leave like the general idea, but with less instruments. And then the C section could be like a bridge or something completely different where you take out like maybe all the instruments and all the drums and add some texture stuff and ambient stuff. The arrangement, that is also a creative process that you do if you want. Nobody tells you what it should be. Just use your creativity to say, okay, this is A section, this is B section, this is C section. Have it be different. That's what they're really trying to say. Like they want progressions. Like everything has to be a little different every 4 to 8 bars, right? They said moody keywords, swagger, mysterious, moody, cinematic, confident, nighttime energy. No vocals, and we should avoid too slow, stagnant energy, loopy arrangements, cheap library samples, poor mixes, and low-level masters. That's kind of obvious because you don't want to deliver a work that is that doesn't sound polished, So you want to avoid that. Let's see how our Instagram is doing over here. Got some people coming in. The real A.K, Angela Mendoza, everybody's coming in. All right, that's cool. All right, so now I'm going to move to the DAW since now I read you guys the brief. You got kind of a general idea of what the beat was gonna be. I created this beat off camera, obviously, in these days to come. It took me like 2 days to finish it, and not working the whole day really. I just worked like 2 to 3 hours in my studio. But yeah, let's go over to the DAW right now. All right, here we are at the DAW, guys. So as you can see, the bat right here on the bottom part of my Studio One DAW interface, it's a 93 BPM. I use 93 BPM. I'm making sure that you guys can see this screen. Yeah. So 93 BPM. The track, I'm not really sure the key is D minor. Yeah, I use D minor like on most of my beats. I use D minor like a lot. I really like that scale. To me, it's easy, but it also has like that B flat there that makes it a little bit, I don't know, like mysterious high end. I don't know how to say. Anyways, I'm gonna play you guys the beat and then I'll show you kind of what I did. Or would you prefer for me to play the beat at the end? Because it's kind of, you'll hear as we go on. I'll just play the beat for real. I'll just play the beat right now. I'll mute my voice, take a sip of water, and I'll put up my mix window and some plugins for you guys to kind of see the things that I use in my mixes. All right, here it goes. All right, guys, you know, that's the beat. I called it Light Jar. I'm going to rename this really quick. I called it Light Jar. I'm just put it here, Light Jar for Amori. So I know who's it for. Anyways, yeah, so we start off this beat with this E piano, and this patch is from Serum, and I got it from Splice, like I always do, like with beats that I want to make for sync and stuff. Like right now, Serum is what I'm been using the most. I don't even think this is Serum 2, but I'm just using this. And yeah, it sounds kind of like this. Let me see. Yeah. And then I'm layering it with this other E piano, also from Serum. It's called Keys Hedge Piano. This one sounds like this. So both of them layered. You can hear the first E piano is a little bit brighter than the other hedgy one. And so this is the pattern. D minor going to A, then A sharp, which is that B flat that I was talking about. And I did a little arpeggiated kind of feel here. So if you guys can see here, the little arpeggiated thing. This is the pattern. If you want to learn it, just take a screenshot of it, you know, and then try it out in your beats. Just a little chord progression that I made. And this pattern is a little different because I added these notes. They're just half notes to create tension. Right. It's practically the same all throughout. The E piano is only changes here, which I just left these two chords. It's where that's the only part where it changes, and that's like the C section right now. Yeah. So it starts off like that, and then comes into the hook, like really just in there. You know, 4 bars changed. I added those little bell things. Then this would be it would come into that A apostrophe part kind of. And so here where it comes in, all this blue section, this whole blue section are the drums. You can see I added a lot of perks and a lot of drums. So yeah, listen to the drums only, and then I'll explain what I did. Right. Simple but yet bouncy. Practically what I did was I took this, I have this West Coast drum kit, and I had it on impact, right? And so just made the whole drums with the impact VST, and then I exported them to audio because it takes less of my CPU, as you can see. But yeah, like I don't know if I can explain exactly the thought process of what I go through when I'm making the drums for beats like this. I try not to overwhelm too much, but at the same time, if the beat has a lot of space to add percussion, then I would do it. Also because I went over and referenced Blast and Larry June music, and their West Coast hip hop is a little bit more in the down tempo side, and they have a lot of percussion play with their hi-hats and percussive sounds and stomps and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to incorporate that into my beat. So it's not like, oh, I need to add all this percussion to this beat because it's a West Coast. It's just like the influence that I had at that moment to make these perks, you know? So I'll play the drums for you one more time. You know, and the snare is right there on the 2 all the time. Like it doesn't change no time. Yeah. So those are the drums. Like I said, I have a drum kit over here on my files. Let me see. I forgot what it was called again. But it's like a West Coast thing. Yeah, West Coast Bangers drum kit right here. I took all these West Coast drums and then just used these sounds to make that drum pattern. Here we have some 808 kicks and claps, crashes also, some 808 stuff, toms. So that's pretty cool. And then we got some sound effects also. We got flexatons and hydraulics, and you can also use those a lot. But yeah, moving on, the bass. The bass that I used for this beat was this bass from the West Coast Hip Hop Bank, from Heat Up 3. You can find these expansion packs. Just search Heat Up expansion packs and they'll take you to this. I forget the name of the website. And they have a bunch, but I'm talking a bunch of preset packs tailored to different genres, different artists. And the 24K, I just played that one and I was like, this is the one because it sounds gritty and it also has that low end that I need. And I didn't need to do much to it. So let's listen to that bass. Is the pattern. Yeah, the pattern then changes when I go to this B section kind of thing, and you'll hear the difference. So I gotta do this here. Yeah. I don't know why I exported this way. But yeah. Okay. So the other part that's playing on this part is, well, that Rhodes piano. And then I have these pads from, I think it's Analog Dreams, the Blurry Skies preset from Contact. And I made this pad. Kind of cinematic also, you know. See? I think it's pretty cool, that pad. And so again, the B section, right? You see who else we got here? Kano dude, what's up, my dude? All right, now coming into the second part of this A section, I got this little sound here. So these plugs, the drippy plugs, this is what I'm doing in this part. Just adding those little notes there. It's kind of like a counter melody kind of thing. All right, so now we move on to the B section. Here I added some different percussive shots right here. So if you guys are wondering, this yellow instrument, it's like some hip hop hits that sound like DJ scratches. Let me just play it for you so you can understand those hits. So after listening to the beat like a billion times, I decided I wasn't gonna use that. I was like, nah, the beat doesn't even need it, and I took it out. And so this second part, this B part, it's just the drums with the bass. Now the bass, this pattern is a bit different. It's just more like more subtle and more punchy there, and just giving it a little bit of decoration. But also the pads, I added some notes, so now they sound bigger. I guess that's just a different part for the editors to also say like, oh, this is nice for like voiceover because it doesn't have a lot of stuff going on. And then I just added these 2 perks that you see, the last 2 instruments here, the last 2 tracks. I'm gonna highlight them. Those instruments, those little 2 perks are the ones that I added. So it goes, and then added right here. But then I don't add them, which I think I should, but they already said that they like the track, so I'm not gonna change it. Here I change it again. I'm thinking about, well, you know. So here we go to, again, kind of the A part, the C part, A part. So we go from B to A again here. See? And this is kind of like a C section that's going to develop in the other part. We have like a transition effect coming in. So I wanted to show you also this this part in kind of like a light blue. Now this this sound is from the plugs, also from Heat Up, from the G-Funk expansion pack. And this one is called Meta Glock 9. It sounds like that. It's just another plug, but in context it sounded like this. So I really like that sound. Like, that sound is pretty cool. And I added like a bunch of reverb with the Valhalla Vintage Verb. And so as you can see, I did come with this instrument here a little bit in the before that A section played with this lead. I just kind of wanted to announce it right there. But then I take it out here so we can go back to that A section. This lead sound is also another Heat Up expansion from the leads, the West Coast Hip Hop Rise Up. It's called Rise Up. And here we got the pattern. I just love these sounds because they sound really mysterious. And then having like harmonized. I also added these effects. I added that EQ, then this analog delay, and then some kickstart to give it a little bit of that sidechain bounce. That's all for that lead part. That green, light green part here is the lead. You can see this track has 25 tracks. I mean, this beat has 25 tracks. Okay. So moving on, after this kind of A section here, coming with this riser effect, we're gonna be entering like the C, like the breakdown section. So it's the plug with the little, with the other plugs going down the scale. And here is where the E piano changes to like more simple chords and just giving it a little bit of texture. And then obviously the bass. For the drums, I eliminated all the drums for the first part. So no drums for 4 bars. I just thought it might be good to have like a part that there's no drums playing, you know? And then we come in but with no kick. We come in with the clap but no kick. Then we come back with that A section, but plus the B section, so everything together except these pink plugs. Now here, to make it more dramatic, we could have the kick go bam 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 bam, but I left it like that. And that's it, and that's this thing right there, just the kick and all these synths and these effects. And that's it. And just like that, the track is 2 minutes and something, you know, so it's more than what they bargained for, you know, more than what they asked for. But I guess I just overdo it. I always like my beats at least to be 2 minutes long, because I think it gives it more for the editors to find parts that they like. What happened here? There's a pack. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna hit Command Save, because I've already explained everything from this beat, like all the sounds that I used. Well, these last transition sounds, you know, this one I found from a sample pack. It's called the PG Lost Accent. I don't remember what sound pack I used. As you can see, I have a bunch of sound packs here. It's probably one of these sound packs with some effects. You know, here I got the same from the same pad. So this effect does this. It's just like a riser kind of thing. And the reason I did that at the end was like I just cut it here and I added a kickstart just to this section so that it had that. And then it finishes. Let me play it for you, like the whole thing. And the way that you can make it even more interesting, maybe, would be to like make an automation where it gets higher and higher and higher, and then it goes and then it drops. You know, like you gotta go here to the knob and hit Edit Automation Volume, and then make like a wave. How do you say, like a line form, so that the volume starts here. But then as it goes up, and when it ends, you just mute it. So you have to automate the it's not gonna, you don't have to automate the mute because it's an audio file, but yeah, it's a way that you can create like, oh my god, and then it just drops. This is from MIDI Latinos. This drill and trap, I think it's drill and trap. Yeah, trap and drill effects pack, which was like $8. I got this from them here. Got that, and then this one is just like a whoosh kind of effect. The last one, I'm talking about these three last effects right here. I'm gonna play all of them actually. And then it finishes. Yeah. So those are the effects that I used for this track, like around here, you can see, but nothing at the beginning. I can, you can add more risers and stuff like that. I know that most music library editors and their composers, they will add their own little effects if they want to, and they do their little stuff. But this is my work. This is what we do. We create the beat. As you can see, it's already arranged completely. Then we go to the mix. We mix it. This is my mix window right here. We got some drum buses going on. I got virtual mix rack on the drum bus, on the perc bus, on the instrument bus. The bass, I just added some distortion to it with the red light distortion plugin, stock plugin from Presonus. I already showed you guys my mastering chain. So I got the saturation, tape saturation from Slade. Also from Slade, the VBC FG Red with that glue preset, which is perfect. You don't really need to even touch it. And then I got the Slade FGX for limiting, just using this limiter part, giving a little detail and a little gain. And I could even gain this up more if I wanted to. Then after that, at the post, I have a limiter, which is limiting. It has a ceiling of 0.05. So it's not going to go past that, even if I raise up the master fader, which I always kind of do because just to get it louder, just because, man. I like to put it on the soft clipping sometimes. So we'll leave it as a soft clipper right now. Let me play this for you guys. So here is the limiter. This is where we let me put the loudest part of the beat. You see, we're just here hitting 0.50. We can even go higher if we wanted to. Right here, we're hitting at negative 0.12 still. Right there, I boosted it plus 1.5 dB. Now we have more gain reduction here on this limiter. And now we're just hitting at negative 0.10. So I'll just leave it there and not go over 0.05. My Yuli meter, it says that it's short-term negative 10, but momentarily it's negative 7.8. Sometimes it goes to like a negative 6. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I still don't really understand these metrics. And see, now it goes to negative 9, negative 8. So the thing is that, you know, some people say, you know, you want to get it to like negative 12, negative 10, negative 9 after the mastering. You want your RMS to be at negative 9, or you want to be peaking at 0.01 or whatever. And you got to look at the Yuli meter, right? And it says like short term, but it says momentary max. That's where you want to see. Like, take it to the negative 6, but I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. Like, sometimes I can't take my beat up to like negative 6 or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but every time I try to boost it up, it just starts distorting or clipping. So maybe I'm doing something wrong with on my compression side or something. But I really try to go past negative 6 or something so that it sounds loud on the speakers in my car, especially because most people listen to their music in the cars. All right, so that's it, guys. That's the beat. Like I said before, this beat got accepted into the library, so now I have to sit down and export all the stems, organize the folder, and send that out to them, and hopefully, you know, cross our fingers and get a placement on this. Okay, so I'm gonna change cameras here. I hope that you guys learned something from this video today. It's a short live stream. I'm not gonna be here for a while. You know, just show you what I wanted to show you, so that you guys, if you're getting into sync licensing, you kind of know now. You have a guideline of how to make this music, or where to find the sounds, or you know, how to get a general idea, I guess, of how is it that you make music for TV. I mean, have you ever stopped to think about, oh, that's a pretty cool beat while you're watching like a reality show or something like that, or you're watching some some highlights on sports, and there's like a trap beat hitting in the background, and you're like, oh, that's a really, really cool and catchy beat. I wonder how they do that or who did that. So now here you see a composer that is trying to get their way into sync licensing. So this is my process. This is the process of how I do it. I'm not going to go into detail about how I deliver all the stems and all that stuff, because that is a tedious job, dude. And you have to be very careful and very present, so that all the files are exactly the way that they ask for them, and that you're not missing anything, because then there's no way back, you know. So you got to make sure that those folders are neatly organized to make their lives easier, but also that you put everything into those folders. Don't leave anything out, you know, because that's not gonna look good for you, you know. Like, you want to give them the best possible work, and give it your 100%, you know, every time. It doesn't matter. Maybe we won't even see a placement from this, but you know, we gotta take all the opportunities we can get, man, because things are not easy out there. All right. So I just want to shout out to my people on Instagram. Come follow me on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button so you guys know when I'm going live, making and talking about beats like these. And also, you know, just talking about music and life in general. So yeah, please come over to my YouTube. Follow me over there. Maybe next live stream we're gonna be playing some guitars, doing some jamming and stuff, which I know most people like that. But yeah, to me it's just a great pleasure to be here for you guys and just make music and showcase my music to people that I don't know, that people that might want to learn from this, might want to learn from me, and might want to support me on this journey as a composer. Please try to subscribe and follow me on YouTube so that we can monetize this shiznit. All right, guys. So that's it for me for today. Really, thank you so much to anybody who came out. Remember just to subscribe to that YouTube and follow me on Instagram, Dillian Mo Beats on Instagram. Follow me there. And yeah, guys, you know, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace.